Okay, my friends, we are live at 7:04 and 35 seconds Central Time. That's 8 o'clock and 4 minutes Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, 6:05 or so there Mountain. We are live. Some nights we're live. Most nights it's taped right before we go live, basically taped to air. It's taped like it's going to be live. That way we have any glitches, we can fix it. But I've committed that if we don't get live at 7 o'clock, because we've already got TV stations picking this up, cable systems in England, you name it, here in the U.S., who are grabbing it and airing it the next day. They grab it off the high-quality MP4 at prisonplanet.tv or infowarsnews.com, and then they're playing it themselves. So we're going to the next phase very soon. I'm going to be hiring in the next month probably 3 more reporters, some more editors, researchers, writers. I mean, it's a big buildup here. And we're always so busy, just giving you a status update, on doing the existing radio show, films, documentaries, news pieces, special reports, that we can never get to that next level. Well, we've already gotten to the level after that, but the next level after that of putting up the satellite uplink, other systems. But we're very, very, very close to that, and the sky is the limit. I just hope we can get it launched before they totally collapse everything, because we need to be in position to try to stop the globalists from collapsing things, A, and B, we need to be able to, if things start collapsing, be on our feet and really to an expanded audience when all that happens. Because we reach 15 million people a week through Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com, the 100-plus AM and FM stations, XM, global shortwave, the YouTube videos, all the different ways, 15 million a week, one way or another, conservatively. But that's not enough. I mean, there's 6 billion, 300 million people on this planet. And a lot of folks translate the shows into Chinese, into Spanish, into Deutsch, into Japanese, into Russian. And I want to commend all of those that have been doing that. This is going to be over a 2-hour nightly news tonight. Over 2 hours. And the issue is we're going to do 1 hour when the show's official. At first, when I was going to launch Infowars Nightly News, I was more realistic. I thought we'll do a highly produced 30-minute show each night. But now that we've talked to stations and networks, they want an hour. And so when we do this, it's going to be 1 hour. And it should be in the middle of the fall. I'm shooting to have the final show. But getting our legs here and beta testing has been amazing. I mean, what a great team out there. In Darren McBreen, Marcos Morales, Rob Dew, and all the countless others that have supported us. Also Rob Jacobson, Aaron Dykes, Chris Alanese, John Bound, Wes, so many others, Max Cabrera, Matt, some of the guys don't want their last names on air, which is fine. They're IT guys. Why should they be? Without them, we couldn't be doing any of this. We couldn't have PlanetInfowars.com, the social network for patriots to get connected. We couldn't be here, period, without you. You know, coming up tonight, we're going to have Gerald Celente on, one of the most powerful interviews ever. We've got definitely the first interview with Billy Corrigan went viral. It was big, Smashing Pumpkins. This time, he let it all hang out. Wow, what an intellect. That's coming up. This is a 2-hour-plus show, because usually we're done shooting it by 6 o'clock if we're doing a tape show. We ran right up until about 7:02, and then there and there just cutting out a few mistakes and checking audio levels, putting in some of the interviews we did. So we should go live in, what, about 10 minutes, do you think? Or we're live now. We should go to tape. In about 10 minutes, you got to take your time, because I enjoy talking with folks. Now, towards the end of the news segment, about 30 minutes in, I did something I don't do very often, but I did it because it has to be done. It has to be done in a balanced way, because I didn't know who this guy was from Adam. But I was sure able to read his words in the Examiner newspaper. I'm going to break this down at that time once we get to it. But what I can't handle, it's one thing to have George Soros, who's anti-freedom, anti-liberty, pro-world government, anti-family. You know who he is. It's one thing to have dictators in Africa and things. You know what? They're not here taking over my life. They wear on their sleeve what they are. And they're evil, and I don't like them. But I do not like hypocrites and the globalists launching wars everywhere and calling him a humanitarian. And I don't like cognitive infiltration. I don't like Obama betraying all of his foolish supporters. I don't like Cass Sunstein at the White House putting out memos saying that they were going to pose as alternative media, knowing that mainstream media had no credibility, that they would cause infighting and things like that once they got into power, and that they would also engage in what they call cognitive infiltration. That's a serious issue that they do that, and they've got all these web bots that pose as people that attack us 24/7. And they have real bloggers, the Pentagon admits, going out and attacking real Americans that understand the true threat. This is all part and parcel of the treason that's put our military under UN command. But the fact that people like Glenn Beck go out there and make fun of people that cover Bilderberg Group when it's at the top of the pyramid. See, they don't mind if you attack it from a left-wing perspective or a right-wing perspective if you're on the left, but never unify it and explain, no, the global social engineers, the monopoly men, in their own books, like Carol Quigley's Tragedy and Hope, admit that their strategy, because they're so arrogant, and I guess they're right in a way, that the public isn't reading what they say, they write books. In fact, Darren, will you go in my other studio and grab me Tragedy and Hope? I know you're busy getting something together, but we got a skeleton crew tonight because one of our guys is down at the local TV station where we air our show, putting pieces together. Yeah, it's in the other studio on my desk. The point is I want to show you this. There he is admitting they control the fake left and right and have them debate over fake issues, petty issues, football issues, but never actually discuss real policies like corporate welfare, defense spending, surveillance society, things like that. And then I read an article like this one out of the Examiner. And the Examiner, I like the Examiner, examiner.com. They have the good, they have the bad, they have the ugly. I mean, it's a free-for-all. You've got establishment left, anti-establishment left, right-wing, libertarian, conservative, anarchic, capitalist, space people that think aliens, from Pop-Tart control us, Hale-Bopp type folks, animal rights activists. I did a big interview today. I think I've talked about 6-7 hours today already. It's a very diverse group. And of the piece coming up, the only thing I wish I would have pointed out is that the Examiner's not bad folks. I just said anybody can publish something there, basically. So get ready to expect some weirdness occasionally. But in a way, I like it because it is a free-for-all. You can read whatever you want and judge it for yourself. But I saw a piece, the guys brought it to me, and it irritated me because I know the whole backstory on things. That isn't really a secret. Here's Tragedy and Hope. We sell it. It's back in print now, limited run at InfoWarsShop.com if you want to support us. It's 1,400 pages long. Bill Clinton's mentor led into the CIA, State Department, and Bilderberg archives. He tries to explain how their world government's really great for you, but it doesn't exist, though, because I'm an evil person, even though they've announced world government on CNBC everywhere else. Is the gatekeepers, people that act like they're constitutionalists, they're patriots, they're like Thomas Jefferson, but don't criticize and say there's corrupt secret groups in government. Even though the founders warned about that, even though history shows that, it's this demonization of anybody who recognizes we have a criminal cabal in control, the same type of folks that run Fast and Furious, like John Corzine getting billions of stolen money and not getting in trouble, and MF Global. I mean, this is everywhere. And this naive idea, for all of our country's history and other countries' histories, they knew not to trust elites. They knew about backroom deals, smoky rooms. But somehow in the last 50 years, 60 years, it's a conspiracy theory if you talk about it. And that is what I'm sick of. That is what I'm tired of. So let me go over this report here. Liberty champion Peterson says conspiracy theories hurt movement. I mean, that's written like it was written at a 5th grade level when it comes to propaganda. Why, the champion of liberty. Now, this guy had been like Ron Paul or somebody else, been out there for decades fighting. Like the London Guardian, saying Alex Jones, their champion fights Bilderberg. It was kind of embarrassing when I saw that linked all over the web and all over, news and everything. But you know what? you could say I'm a champion. And it's embarrassing. It's kind of weird to say it, but okay, yes, I'm a champion to large groups of people, millions and millions and millions of people. But I'd never heard of this guy, okay? And now he's getting the attention he so craves. Hey, I saw my son out there. I know I'm going to take him home in a minute. Did he go back in the other area? Okay, good. He was looking for me. I don't know what he wanted. I know it's late. I'm supposed to be getting home, but my wife dropped him off about 5 o'clock here today. Okay, continuing. Liberty champion Peterson says conspiracy theories hurt movement. And so imagine you go to the Porcupine Festival in New Hampshire, and you don't talk about how they want to launch a war in Syria or staging shoot-downs of aircraft. You don't talk about how they've got riot troops all over the place getting ready and tanks occupying major cities and TSA checkpoints on the news. Everything I told you was coming, but now I'm even worse that I was right. See, you don't get lauded for being right. It's, oh, well, you're even worse now that you were right. Because they have to counter us now. They're scared. No, he didn't talk about any of that. That wasn't the concern. The concern was that there are people who don't trust the government, and libertarians are open to this, and this is dangerous. He says, this can get people killed. Yeah, we got a big tyranny coming, a big takeover, and it could become a civil war, and see, people are choosing sides right now. They're saying, oh, my God, don't say there's corruption. That could get people killed. Well, it's the New World Order that's getting people killed all over the world. He goes on, he defines it, because he's like Karl Rove. He is a history's actor. He says what it is, then you just accept whatever that new reality is. You know, there's no condescension there. It's just, he's a thinker, you're a receiver. He's God, you're slave. The term conspiracy theory is used to indicate a narrative, a story, genre that includes a broad selection, not necessarily related. Oh, yeah, like there's drones in the skies, checkpoints, bankrupt government, military checkpoints. You're not supposed to, like, go out to a lake or a pond and it's full of trash and green slime. And you're like, there's green slime all over it. And they're like, no, wait a minute, you're putting all this together. The McDonald's garbage, the green slime, maybe a dead cow floating over there. You know, you walk up to a beautiful crystal clear lake, little fishies swimming around. Beautiful day, it's warm. Yeah, I think I'll go swimming. You know, you're engaging in the thought process. Bringing in all the data. No. You come up to a big stinking black lake with dead fish floating in it. You're supposed to say, oh, well, I'm not going to put all this together. If the mainstream media says go right into it, I just should. Because after all, Liberty champion Austin Peterson said so. He's a champion. They said so. I mean, don't question, don't have a thought process about this PR piece, or you're not a Liberty champion. The term conspiracy theory is used to indicate a narrative genre that includes a broad selection of arguments to the existence of grand conspiracies. Big, grand, you know, UN, NATO, Bilderberg doesn't exist. Though through all mainline history books it does. The term is frequently used to identify secret military. Well, there's nothing secret in the military. Not secret codes, not secret drills, not Gulf of Tonkin. None of this. No, just trust the COG underground bases they admit exist. Just, you know, they say they'll use the military to kill us, NDAA. I told you about that beforehand. Now it's a reality. Drones, but still, it's here, but you're not supposed to talk about it, or you're a conspiracy theorist. Secret military, secret banking. You know, don't talk about banking, period, in fact, or political actions aimed at stealing power. Oh, no one ever steals power in politics. I mean, this young man who looks like he might have first bought his first Bic shaver, he says he's Karl Rove, because he said so. He went to the people and he goes on to warn them, you guys are getting dangerous. You're listening to all sorts of alternative ideas. He actually says that. You're having open minds. I thought this was satire until I looked more into it today. So he says the government may want to steal power from the people. I thought George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, Patrick Henry, I mean, they all said that, oh, they're bad, he's good, okay. Conspiracy theories are based on the notion that complex plots are put into motion by powerful hidden forces. Like I told you 5 years ago, to shut down power plants, and then Obama did it to make more money for his buddies, and now it's all happened? You mean like Ken Lay and Enron? He goes on to say the worst thing is the 9/11 truthers. They're destroying true justice. They're just the worst people. I mean, you should ignore Al-Qaeda working for the Pentagon all over the news, or Fox News admitting Anwar al-Awlaki was secretly a CIA agent for 9/11 and involved. I mean, that's even mainstream news. You're just not supposed to even discuss that in any way. He just goes on. He says, the tendency to embrace alternative realities has been increased by libertarian icon Ron Paul. And it says, that's okay, but engaging in this type of backwards thinking can lead not only to madness, it's backwards. It's backwards. Founding father, old-fashioned, you know. Let's go back even further to trusting government like Rome or maybe the Aztecs. Listen, engaging in this type of backwards thinking can lead not only to madness, but to murder. But embracing it leads to more wars and drone attacks, which isn't murder. But hey, oh, there you go. You got a glamour shot at Walmart, so it's all over. Continuing. He goes, you bear some moral responsibility for the violent actions taken by sick and deranged. Folks, that is pure Cass Sunstein. That is pure when Nightline's been here, and when MSNBC Hardball's been here, and when Rolling Stone and New Yorker Magazine and the National Post of Canada and the London Guardian and the BBC, and they've all been here. I mean, everything this guy writes is a direct script. Do you realize this is a script, is my point. This is cognitive infiltration. I don't know if they came to him and said, you want a job at Fox News? Because, you know, they say he's the associate producer of the Freedom Watch that hadn't been around in 5 months, and that he's a big star and everything. Everybody knows who he is. I never heard of him. I know who everybody is. I mean, my point is, this is what you've got. This is who they send in. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. You know, I noticed that everything he writes is the exact narrative. Southern Poverty Law Center, ADL, MSNBC, Nightline, been on them all. I have heard this exact crap, word for word. I mean, word for word, over and over again. And with Nightline, I'm like, let me show you C-SPAN clips of the head of the EU calling for world government, global taxation. No, we don't want to see that. Well, let me show you a document. No, we don't want to see that. Is this going to cause violence? You know, you bear responsibility for what you're doing. You know, this narrative, connecting things, saying there's corruption in government. And I'm like, are you joking? And they go and they put that on for the sheeple out there who they have total disdain for. And then I read this. This is who ran Judge Napolitano's show? Because he told me, oh, you know, and this part wasn't off record. You know, other Fox people told me same stuff. He said, well, Glenn Beck's producers are going to flip out if I have you on, so I better not. I'm like, that's fine. I'm already here in New York to go on shows. You invited me over here to the studio, and you're telling me this now. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I don't care. Don't you get it? I don't care. I don't care. The gold company I put on the map, Ted Anderson, they weren't going to give Freedom Watch a show because they didn't have a sponsorship. We ponied up. Ted called me. He said, do you think we ought to do this for a year? And I said, I don't know. That'll be half his budget to get him on air. And I said, if that's what they need to get him on air, do it. We got him on air. We got this little guy his job, though I never knew his name. And then I get to sit here and be talked down to when we actually tried to influence News Corp. But see, we can't influence News Corp, even though we know there's some good people in there. And you know why we can't influence News Corp? Because they, as I told you a year ago, and now it's been admitted, are being blackmailed and controlled. The Justice Department, the same folks that ship hand grenades and machine guns into Mexico to blame the Second Amendment, even though you can't buy hand grenades at the gun shop, they are crooks, and they can arrest Rupert Murdoch and are talking about arresting him, all of them right now. And so, of course, they got rid of Freedom Watch. Of course, they kicked Glenn Beck off. And the message is, you guys worked within the system, and where did it get you? All of us are going to end up like this. You ready, dude? Okay. So, you know, the point is, it's not even that big of a deal. It's just that I covered it, and I sit here, and I see some snot-nose sit there. If this guy isn't an operative, these talking points were given to him by somebody. I mean, because it's direct, ham-fisted, Cass Sunstein, word for word, Southern Poverty Law Center, ADL crap. And I've seen this over and over again. I've seen other radio networks I know who will go hire somebody that's on like 15 stations, this is nobody, and pay them all this money because they're establishment and it makes no money and has no success. And then things that are alternative and are incredibly successful and make money, it still doesn't have that allure. People still have this mental illness that if it's a big giant, you know what, guys? Maybe we should do it if it gets the truth out. Let's bring Obama in here right now, please. Come on in, McBrain, if you're dressed up like Obama. I don't know why, but whatever, bring him in. No teleprompters. Maybe we should, because it's not very expensive, like 50 grand. Put in one of those big fancy and a boom and some stuff, and wear like a big three-piece suit and a big old giant, tie. And I can sit here and shovel garbage at you all day, and you're like, well, he's wearing a fancy tie. It must be true. Come on in here. By the way, that is a nice shirt available at InfoWarsShop.com. We're not funded by the New World Order. Oh, yes. We have the top 10 reporter contest, and it's top 10 narrowing the field in the InfoWars reporter contest. Those are now at Infowars.com. And we just announced the $5,000 winner. We just announced the $5,000 winner of phase 1 of the Obama dictator poster contest. Next phase is $10,000. So find out more at Infowars.com. Okay, that's it for this live transmission. We take you now. How long is this? Because I was going from memory. Is it over 2 hours? 2 hours and 48 minutes. Only passion brings you that. It's up to you to get these videos out to everybody you know. But, I mean, my God, what a ham-fisted attempt to give us our new star who will lead libertarians to the promised land. There's no government with powerful people that want to take power. Well, that's the new libertarianism. Well, my God. And again, it's got to be extreme to move the Overton window from the government's pure narcotics trafficking, child molesting murderers over to there's no government evil. That's libertarianism. And you hear like little Tweety bird noises, happy springtime music. What's that famous springtime music you hear everywhere? With the da 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 da. Big government and army checkpoints are good. All right, folks, we appreciate you watching and listening and supporting us. 15-day free trial at prisonplanet.tv right now. Hey, we shot it. We did it. We busted our humps. It's up to you now to get the ammo down range. Here is a 2-hour plus InfoWars, nightly news, Gerald Salente, and more. But what he says doesn't matter because Eddie Haskell says government's not corrupt. Stay with us.